Welcome to the bold analysis, ladies and gentlemen. Kindly subscribe to our channel. This photo you are seeing in your screen was taken in along the City Park market along Limuru Road when traders were venting their frustrations and they went on rampage to demand good facilities at City Park market, which hosts hundreds of small-scale traders. This is not a photo that was taken in an Azimio la rally. And I think those who've been asking and talking about Mandamano, that is what is called Mandamano. The traders were telling President Ruto that take action so that you address our safety, the safety of the traders there, the exorbitant taxation and the other local levies in the place. Now, this protest happened and it was highly volatile. The police officers struggled to quell the rowdy traders, throwing rocks and burning tires during the morning protest. To an extent that there was even metallic kiosk that was even thrown on the road, barricading the road, in what is seen as a move to vent their frustration. So we have all been yelling about, I have come from State House with development, a bag or a basket full of development. But people are crying out that things are not good. This should be worrying, and I want us to look at the video here.
Imagine wanafunga pale.
Ndio kwani kuna
Maskari watakuja hapa.
Kwani wakikuja watakuua, wezi kupiga wakuue. Kitu mtakula tu ni kiaga, tafuta maji na chupa.
This should worry President Ruto because the people that were protesting are, according to me, a section of hustlers that were defined at the campaign trail. Now, secondly, what should also worry President Ruto is that was a coordinated and organized protest. By the way, there is no protest that just happens spontaneous. Even for those of us who had privilege of going to university, and maybe if your university happened to had maybe held demonstrations, you will understand that everything is normally planned. It will start from a corner of the hostel, or it will start from the common room. It will start somewhere with some 1 or 2, 3 people organizing it, and before you know, they are ringleaders, and all of you are roped in. So someone coordinating this, and people simply telling the state that things are not good. That's it. If we take that route, then this is where the leaders that make a lot of ridiculous statements about the rallies, Valodinga's rallies, calling them mandamanos. Now these are the mandamanos. Now, if you wanted mandamano, now these are the mandamanos. The other things you call mandamano are not mandamanos. So, watching at this, I want to look at it this way. I will not want to profile a community, but I will factually tell you that since William Ruto came into power, we've had many protests coming from Mount Kenya. You will agree with me that we've had many protests that are coming from the mountain. And that tells you that if there is kind of a rebellion that can build... Oh, my friend Kela is calling me here. Now, okay. I want to give you a very clear interpretation that it is not a coincidence that most of these protests come from the mountain. I think the first ever protest in William Ruto's administration was from, the first one was from Bungoma, and that was after another market issue. Then we've had Mandamano in Kiambu 3, ile ya maji, we've had ingine ya land, I think ya dam, we've had maandamano about construction of the Mau Mau Road. I think there was also one, I think, in the middle of Nyeri. You know, we've had a lot of this, and you wonder, are they the ones that are now even in opposition? Something is really not adding up there. Now, this one, it's not that it's a market for people from the mountain, but it's a market that it's Limuru Road on the Kiambu side. Kiambu is a Kema county, even though that's a market that is used by all. There is something that I want to just point out in this. Lobby protests. The protest. This is unlike the ones that are organized by politicians, where like the ones that was organized by Gaucho in Nairobi CBD. And by then Gaucho is back to Raila's fold, to Raila's circle. And I was telling someone, Gaucho will atacheza Nuru Okanga. So Nuru Okanga was in Jacaranda and Gaucho attended the rally in Machakos. That's where I tell you things are normally different. Now, the lobby protests will explode and it may become the only way for Kenyans to vent their frustrations. I want you to think about it this way. If every day we are going to cover protests, town X, town Y, town, and specifically on specific things, on specific issues, then that will actually show you that it can explode. It can explode to a full-blown thing, where any latest thing, people show. And that high octane, it should worry, because many people have been asking, yeah? And we've been saying, oh, okay, Kenyans are restrained, there is restraint, which I also agree, there is restraint, courtesy of the handshake. And but those ones came out. Yes, they came out and protested, and it was not an easy one. Walichoma matayas kwa barabara, wakipiga nduru na kurusha mawe, and it was an ugly confrontation between the traders and the police. So people who normally say, oh, Kenyans are civilized, Kenyans cannot. Sometimes if it reaches the core, they can. That's what that video indicates you. That it's not that rosy as we would want to show, or rather would want to sugarcoat it. To some extent, when people are provoked, it can explode. Now, the other thing you can see in that video, or rather in that aspect, is that the public expectation may not be matching the government delivery. I've been saying here, that the problem is not that we cannot achieve what we said. The problem is not about capacity of achieving. The problem here is when we promised and when we were asking for votes, we spoke blindly. Yes, and we here is UDA. In the campaign trail, they spoke blindly, oblivious of the reality on the ground, what is possible, what you can do, even though you cannot blame them. Wakati ambao unatongoza msichana utamdanganya sana na vitu mingi. People normally do that. You will not knowing that not even these things you can do. Some of these things you cannot achieve. So we overpromised, we overestimated our capacity, our ability to achieve what we can achieve. And I can tell you that if you will take a challenge and get a charter, just wait one charter. UDA had economic forums in almost nearly all the counties. Just pick one economic charter, even from Kiambu, and just start analyzing. This one I'm giving to those people who were attending economic charters and were giving in. Those people who even were signing it, even them they watch our videos. Can we just pick one charter from one county and start taking what has been achieved and what has not been achieved? You'll realize that not even 20% has been achieved. And much of what has not been achieved is what has been spoken out. There's a lot of contingency plans. There's a lot of we are planning. But there is nothing tangible coming out. So the public expectations that don't match the delivery. Now, Ruto will also get wary of the fact that something called tax patriotism might go down. When people come out publicly to complain about tax, and the tax question is normally very sensitive because it doesn't cut across, it cuts across the tribes. it will not single out. It's not a selective topic where you can say that in Kisumu, these people are buying sugar at X price, and in Mombasa, people are buying sugar at X shillings. You know, it cuts across when there is inflation, ni kila mtu. And whether someone, even if someone is protesting in Kisii about something that touches on tax, it will easily resonate with someone in Voi. And that is why I'm going to say, in fact, for Raila Odinga team, if they can stage a very good aspect in just debunking some of these myths and aspects about the taxation, so that Kenyans get to understand the level. I know we never vote on merits. We vote on emotions. We never vote on rational appeal. We vote on emotional appeal, and that's why politics is sometimes very emotional. However, when we go that route, tax patriotism will hurt President Ruto. Public messaging on managing expectations may not be working. Yeah. And I've always said that the leaders know very well, government officers know very well that this one we cannot achieve today. It will not even be this year. In fact, it will never happen. Just like I kept on insisting, the price of unga will not go below 170. So how are you? Hiyo mimi nimesema and I've been waiting. By the way, we said 6 months we'll be here. Said by May, not by June, itashuka 160. Ikishuka mimi nitapraise. But with the way things are going, all factors coming into play, I'm not seeing signs. So we just need to own up. But bit of crying, this is here, we are going to do that, but Uhuru did that, Ruto this, bit of that blame game aspect the blame game thing does not help managing the expectation. In fact, instead of blaming, just say, for now, I promise this and that, but for now I can do this, so do that. When you do it, people will say, okay, fine, hajateremsha, lakini amefanya hii. Well, that makes more sense. Instead of going to people saying, I've not done it because Uhuru ran away with the money, which is a total lie. That's my take.